Tools Part 3. Hey ho. Oh, what? Oh, what the? What? Say it, ain't so. These, tutorials, are coming to a close. And that ain't no joke. And I ain't no jamoke. Let's get cracking. Now, you've already learned about your manipulation tools, and they were great, and it was a blast, and it was a whole hoot and holler. And then you did your creation tools. You were ascending, you learned about them with your ears and with my hands. And now, finally, and quite actually, it's time to move on to the last of your tools. It's these two, your view tools. They are so important. In fact, I'm using one right now. Let's just dive right in, okay? You have ways in Flash to get around. You have your scroll bars, not highly recommended. And I'm talking about getting around inside of this area. I'm going to be calling the viewport or the workspace. It's just the place where you make things happen. You know, the place where you draw and where you erase. So that's our viewport. So you can use these, or you have a tool called the hand tool. The hotkey is H, and if you get it, then you can just click and drag and it will move your view around. Nothing is moving in your actual scene, it's just where you're looking at it from. And that's H, and all it does is clicking and dragging, and you're good. That's it. Now say you were on the selection tool, or the brush tool, and you wanted to quickly move around without hitting H, and then hitting B again. The hand tool offers the ability to just have a temporary instance of it, and that is by pressing and holding space. Now, I'm still on the brush tool, still on it, you know, back to my roots, but for just a split second, I went all grabby, and now I can grab freely, and then I can just let go of space, and I'm back to my brush without even hitting B or anything. It's like space, not, space, and not. There you go. And quick note, if you are using that, if you hit it, as in hit space, and then click down, and then let go of space, it won't jump back until you unclick. Mouse up. Or pen up, depending on what you're using. Also on a tablet pen, the button on more close to the nib is almost always pan and scroll by default. So that's just with the tablet pen. Great. Hand tool. I think I probably use it more than selection. I just like positioning my stuff all over the place. Now, for the zoom tool, or the magnifying glass in later versions. In 8, the hotkey is Z, and in the later ones, I think it's M. I think, yeah. Maybe not in CS2, but it definitely is later. So, here we are in the zoom tool. I just used it right there. I clicked once, and that's it. That's a single left click. Now, if I want to zoom out, I have a few options. With this tool, you can click here in the options panel, and you can reduce, and that's either achieved by clicking there and then left clicking, or if you're on this one, if you hold down Alt, well, don't hit X and Alt, but just Alt, and then you can left click and it'll go right out. And then undoing Alt and then click, it'll zoom in. And what it's doing is zooming in. See, I'm at 100%. It's zooming in by a factor of 2. There's 200, 1600 for like 3 clicks, and then it goes to a maximum only ever of 2000, and then a minimum zoom level of 8. So that's what you get to work with. 8% to 2000%. And 100%, by the way, this little drop-down window up here lets you adjust zoom levels to these like predetermined things. You can't change them, but you do get options like show all, which shows everything you've drawn, I think, and fit to window, which shows your whole stage, which is this resolution. It puts it in whatever workspace area you have, so that's what that'll do. And you can't move that with the grabber tool once you do fit to window. Don't panic. Just zoom in and zoom out, and then you can move again. Okay? Yeah. So, I was on some sort of path, but I went and forgot it. And I'm just going to keep talking. With the zoom tool selected, you can drag out an area, and what that'll do is it'll take, like, if you make a tall box, it'll take the long distance and it'll match it up with one of the distances of your viewport. Like, if you do this, it'll take this tall one and it'll match it to your height here. Let me give you a demo. Say I wanted to see this part, I do something like that, and it'll show me all of that. Or if I wanted to see from here to here, I might do something like that, and then it'll show me all of that. So it's good for fine-tune zooming. That doesn't work if you hold Alt, though. So like if I'm holding Alt and I do this, it's just going to zoom in because it just treats this like where you want your viewport to go. Okay, so that's that. And you just saw me do something. What was that? Oh, you hear keyboard clickety clicks, and you know, I'm zooming out. That's because I'm using a hotkey for zoom out. You go view and then zoom in, zoom out. The default hotkeys are Control plus and Control minus on your keyboard, and that is not on the number pad. That is Control, you know, plus that's paired with the equal sign, and then minus paired with the hyphen. So, I mean, minus paired with the underscore. Minus is the hyphen. And, you know, you can use those, or later when we do keyboard shortcuts, you can parent some of your own. And that was a bloop. You probably heard it. And we're just going to ignore it. Throw the iPod. It's gone. Let's keep on pushing right on through, because this is not the first time that I have recorded this, and I want to get it done. So that's Zoom. And that's for you to use to get in and out and all that good stuff. Pretty much basic. Next, I want to talk about the colors, and I'm just making sure I haven't forgotten anything on Zoom. I haven't, and if I have, you can look it up, but I told you everything that I use, so good. I don't even use the Zoom tool. I just use my zoom in, zoom out hotkeys. Yep. So, we did all the tools, and now we did all the view. Let's talk about the colors. So you have two colors, stroke and fill. We went over those, and right now, stroke is at nothing. So, like, I want to show you what would happen. Say I'm on the line tool, right? It'll automatically put the previously used color into it if it was on nothing. So like, if I put it at purple and I draw a line, that'll work. And I have my end caps at square. Let me change that to round. So that'll work. But if I want to, like, if I try to change the color of this to be, well, let's learn about the nothing color. You got some lines, you select those, you change those colors to yellow, it's great. But if you want to just get rid of them, instead of hitting delete, like say you had some brush here that you didn't want to get rid of, you just want to get rid of the lines. I think I actually already talked about this, but you would go here and you would go no color. That's the symbol for no color, and that's what you use when you want to just make something not even exist anymore. And it's only doing it for strokes, so watch this fill. It stays, but the strokes go away. And they're not invisible, they are just gone. Can't even select where they were. Okay. So what I was saying is, if you're on the line tool, you can't make lines invisible. It doesn't give you this option. So if you wanted stroke to be not there, you would have to go to a tool that doesn't use strokes. Something like the brush tool, or the text tool, or the shape tools. Okay, or the paint bucket. So now that I'm on the brush tool, I can make strokes invisible, and it's good. This is really helpful for when you're making like circles, and you want to draw a circle with no outline but a red interior. It'll do that, and it doesn't give it an outline. Or if you wanted the opposite, you might put a purple outline and no interior. There you go. And there's nothing inside of here. Good. So you learned about no color. I mean, I hope. I talked about it. Maybe you didn't quite get it. But hey, I'm gonna do a little bit more of it. So I'm going to change my background color for this next bit so it will be more obvious what's happening. When I put out here a great line, it is not a great color. I'm going to make that like green. And then I'm going to do a rectangle that is, I don't know, a good light red. Not a light red, a dark purple. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so see these two. We got a stroke and a fill, right? There's our stroke color and there's our fill. So say I wanted, well, for whatever reason, Flash gives you the option to change all strokes to black and all fills to white with this button here, right here, black and white. Click, and it does it. Okay? Okay. And it did it to both of these on the screen because they were selected. If I undo that, and then these are not selected, and then I click it, like if this was purple and this was green, I click it, it'll change those, but it doesn't apply it to these because they're not selected. Yeah, you know, Flash stuff. And then I get these back. Just because these are on these colors and I select these, it doesn't mean it'll put those on those. This color mixer always tells you true colors. This is just colors that you were previously using. And, you know, once you change it, then it'll sync up with what's happening right now. Yep. Anyway, if these are black and white, you can, well, at any time, but it's really clear now, you can use this swap colors function. It's this button right here. It's got 2 arrows and 2 boxes, and you click it, and it'll flip-flop them. And it's helpful for when you, you know, you're doing like circles and squares with outlines and fills, and you want to flip them. Or maybe you have this happening. You've got like a shape that would have a fill but no outline. You're like, oh wait, no, I need an outline but no fill. Click the swap. It'll put nothing onto fill, and then it'll put black onto stroke, and then you get the inverse just right there. Okay, cruising right along. Let's talk about this little button here. It's the same as going in and selecting this one, but it's just outside of it. So if you want to quickly turn this into nothingness, say it's red, and you want to just make it nothing instantly, it has to be selected here. So, like, see how this is selected right now? You select stroke or fill, and one is always selected by clicking the icon, not the box, and it will select it. See how it changes? And then it shows you in your color mixer what is currently happening with that color. We've got, I can't do it because this is selected, but ignore that. You select this, and then you hit no color, it's gone. Without even having to go and do this whole click, drag, select. It's just a button for it, okay? Good. That's your color window. Easy schmeezy. And I'm going to go back right now and talk about, I think, like 3 things that I missed in the past, the first tutorial that I should have talked about. Look at me using my zoom tool. Now, if I have a box, this is about free transform. If I've got myself a nice box with a fill and no outline, then I get my free transform tool. What I didn't show you, I showed you everything except for this. If you skew normal from one side, but if you hold Alt and you skew, you can skew from the center. Let me make the background white so you can see the lines. You skew from the center, okay? It's great for doing buildings, you know, all that stuff. And holding shift when you're skewing does nothing, not even one thing. And you know, you'll learn about all those combinations of shift and alt and whatnot as time goes on. So I'm pretty sure I didn't talk about this. Look at what's going on. It's so rugged. I kind of talked about it inadvertently, but I'm just going to show it again. If you select this with your selection tool, that's V on the keyboard, then you have these options here. You can smoothen and you can straighten. No, wait, what? I definitely talked about this. Yeah, I totally did. But my point being, what is even happening? Guys, here, this is what it was. If I don't want to re-record this. If you're in your mouse, or I mean if you're in your brush tool, and you want a selection tool real fast, you can just hit Control. Just like with the hand, you can hit space, but if you hit Control, you get a really fast version of the selection tool while you're on brush. And then when you let go of Control, it'll revert back to what you were just on. Brush, 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 Control, still holding it, still holding Control, and then letting go. Okay? And then you can, with the temporary control, well, it's kind of different because I have hotkeys, but with the selection tool, you can smoothen things and you can straighten them. I swear, if I didn't talk about that, you know what? I'm going to beat myself up if I do a whole recording without talking about it. So this might even be a review. But these are circles. Well, this is an almost circle. And if you want it to be a true circle, in the selection tools options, you can go to straighten. And then you can click it and it'll make it a perfect circle. If you get close to an oval, it'll do the same thing. Just like that. Just click it a few times if it doesn't go on the first one. And if you want to smoothen things, you select them, and then in selection tool options, you hit smoothen. And it does its best to kind of emulate what it would have been like if you'd drawn it with super high smoothing. And I feel like I'm repeating myself, but there you go. Now you know it twice, if not. Sorry, when I was encoding one of these, it was giving me bad audio. But that's it. That's these. Talked about them. Now you know about them. Also, if you go inside of color, you have this color wheel here, and that's just another instance of the color mixer in a different spot. And in the later versions of Flash, this does not look like this at all. It is a circle, and you know, it's just another color selector. Yeah. Also, you have opacity right here. You can click and change the see-throughness of your stroke. So, like, you could see it working right there. There's the overlap where it's darker. And over here in Color Mixer, you get the options to manually adjust your color with the red, green, and blue channel. So if you put blue all the way up and others down, totally blue. And if you're really fancy, you can go edit the hex value. And how that works is it uses these two for red, green is the middle two, and then the last two are blue. F is the highest, and 0 is the lowest. It stops at 9 and then starts at A after it hits 9, goes to F. So like, if you wanted a nice purple color, you would do half red and then half blue. 880088 purple. Anyway, this is Flash, and those are your tools. And you gotta use your tools if you wanna use your Flash. I don't know. Bye, everybody.